And welcome back to my kitchen. I am super excited about today's dinner recipe because this dish will just blow your guests away. I'll be making my butter poached lobster tails served over a simple risotto. Now let me tell you, every bite of this dish is just gonna blow your taste buds away. It's such a simple and elegant dish, and it's perfect for a special occasion if you're celebrating a holiday such as New Year's or an anniversary, birthday, or if you're just planning for a romantic dinner for your special loved one. Let me show you how to make this incredible dish. And I like to start with my simple risotto recipe simply because it does take a little bit longer and you want to serve those lobster tails while they're nice and hot. Now I have 4 cups of chicken broth preheating in my back burner. You can use any type of broth, vegetable, beef, or chicken. Now this recipe is very simple, but you can change it up and add some additional ingredients such as mushrooms, cheese, spices, and herbs. I'm preheating my saute pan over medium heat, and into that pan I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter. Just let that butter melt completely. Into my melted butter, I'm going to add in 1 small diced onion. You can also use shallots, and 3 minced garlic cloves. Saute this mixture for about 3 to 4 minutes over medium heat. Now you don't want the onions to brown, you just want them to turn translucent. And then add in 1 cup of arborio rice. Mix that rice in with the onion and the garlic and the butter, allowing that butter to really coat the rice. Let it toast for a few minutes. I'm also going to season the rice with a little bit of salt. And now it's time to start adding our liquids. I'm going to start with half a cup of white wine. Let that wine cook for a few minutes. And once the rice has absorbed that liquid, it's time to add the next portion. I'm going to start adding my chicken broth. And the secret to making a great risotto is adding a little bit of that chicken broth at a time and whisking it constantly. And risotto is one of those dishes that I call a labor of love because this process does take a little while. It'll take about 25 to 30 minutes to get the rice all the way cooked. And the secret to making a creamy, rich risotto, even without adding any dairy, is just whisking it constantly and cooking it slowly. You also want to add those liquids just a little bit at a time and letting them cook out after each addition. And my creamy risotto is just about done. Now my husband loves Parmesan cheese, so I'm going to add in about half a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese and just stir that in. Let it cook for a few minutes until that cheese is completely melted. And then we're going to cover the risotto with a lid to make sure that it doesn't form a film on the top, and keep it warm while we're making our lobster tails. And now for our star ingredient, the lobster tails. So for these, you'll want to bring a large pot of salted water up to a boil. Now I'm going to drop these tails in. Today I'm just making 4, but this recipe works well for however many you want to make. Drop them in and we're going to boil them for exactly 7 minutes. And after 7 minutes, you want to lift those lobster tails out of your pan and into a bowl filled with ice water. And this will cool down these lobster tails really quick so they don't keep cooking further. And now for the fun part, let's get our hands dirty. Once these lobster tails have cooled down to a point where they're manageable and you can hold them in your hand, you want to grab, just kind of lay the tail flat in your arm. And I like to grab a little napkin or a tea towel and give those lobsters a little squeeze. Grab a pair of kitchen shears and then cut all the way down to the edge of the tail. And then gently just pull that shell back. And now for the butter poaching, I'm going to melt about a cup of high quality butter. You want to go with something that's like an artisanal type of butter to add even more flavor to the lobsters. Season the butter with a little bit of salt, some ground black pepper, just a sprinkle of smoked paprika, and then some chopped parsley. My butter is melted. It's time to add my lobster tails into the pan. And this is a really quick process. You just want to poach the lobster tails in the butter for about a minute, minute and a half. Just rotate and make sure they get nicely coated in that butter and well flavored. And you want to take those lobster tails straight out of the butter, place them over a bed of risotto. Seriously, how good do these look? They look so incredible. And pour a little bit of that butter over the top. And that's how you make butter poached lobster over simple risotto. Time to dig in and enjoy this. And I love the simplicity of this dish and the color. I love that bright red lobster over that simple risotto. Just a little bit of herbs over the top. Perfection. Wow, this lobster tail is just out of this world. It is so buttery and tender, just kind of melts in your mouth, and it has the perfect amount of seasoning. It has that buttery flavor from the butter. You have a little bit of smoked paprika, the garlic powder, a little squeeze of that lemon juice on top, just really brings everything together. And what I also love is that simple risotto. It is simple and it's great because it doesn't compete with the flavor of the lobster tail, so you really get to enjoy that seafood flavor. If you're looking for an incredible dinner recipe to make for your loved one for a special celebration or holiday, this is it. Just head down into my video description box. I've left a link that'll take you over to my blog where you can find this full recipe and make it for yourself at home. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video recipe, and I'll see you next time.